Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azfar bin Yusuf. So for this project, I will briefly talk about the introduction and objective of our project. So let's continue with my part. First thing first, we need to know what is concrete slump test. Concrete slump test is a process used to verify the consistency and workability of a concrete mixture that was made in a lab or on the construction site. A concrete slump test is performed batch to batch to guarantee the quality of the concrete remains consistent throughout the construction process. The simplest basic concrete workability test with low cost and quick result is the slump test. Because of this, it has been widely used for workability since 1922. Some people mistakenly believe that everyone is aware of the concrete slump test. This test is critical for maintaining the consistency of a concrete mixture in any building. As a result, our team developed a program that will assist any user in determining their concrete mixture quality requirement. So, what is our program objective? Our first objective is to monitor and store any data key in from the user about the concrete slump test. Our second objective is to identify and determine the workability or consistency of the concrete mixture that was chosen by the user. I think that's all from my part, introduction and objective. I will pass the floor to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Salihin. So today I will briefly talk about the coding for this program. So after that, my friends will talk deeply for all parts of the coding. So let's continue for the first part. Firstly, I will talk about the declaration and choices for this program. So first of all, I will use the include IO stream and also the include FS stream by using the namespace std. So for the main program, so I will use the integer main. So for this program, I will use six declaration. So four of them it will be used for arrays, and for the first declaration is part of project, which is the data type is strings, and also the concrete grade, which is the string, also the data type, and the slump, which is the integer because it's a value, and the concrete batch, which is the batch for the concrete, and also the data type is integer, and the look also the integer, and I've declared the n is equal to 0, which is the data type is integer. So for this program, I will use the do while loop, and also for the choices, we will have six choices, which is the first one is first one is total number of parts. The second is add concrete data, and the third one is view list of the concrete data and menu, and grade. And the fourth one is the modify concrete data, and the fifth one is save data, and the last one is the quit. So that's the part for the declaration and choices. So we continue with the next part. So next, I will talk briefly about the case 0, which is the determine the number of parts. So for this program, I will use the switch uh, choices. So for the case 0, first of all, the program will ask to enter the number of parts, and after the number of parts is entered, it will print out the total part will be used in this project is, which is the number of parts. So next we continue for the case 1. For the case number 1, which is the enter concrete data. So for this case 1, so the program will ask you to enter the part of project, also enter the concrete batch in 24-hour system, and also the concrete slump value. So this concrete slump value is used to determine which is the concrete grade is. So next, let's continue for the case 2. For the case 2, which is to view the list of the concrete data. So for the case 2, is used to view the list of the concrete data that we enter earlier in case 1. So in these cases, it will show all the concrete data that we have already entered in part 1, in case 1. So that's all for case 2. Next, we will continue for the case 3. So for the case 3, which is to modify the concrete data, this is the coding for the case 3. So first of all, it will ask about the part to update, and also it will ask the user to enter the new value of the slump for that part. And after that, it will determine the new concrete grade for that uh, part of the project. So that's all for the case 3. Let's continue to the case 4. Lastly, for the case 4, which is to save the concrete data, and also the case 5 to end the program. So for the case 4, which is to save the data, I will use the txt file to save the data, and also with the name of slumpdata.txt. So after that, after the user enter the number of 5, the program will display of the end of program. So the program will be end. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Hasim Takif. Me and Izzat going to talk about the discussion of this project. Okay, so for the first part of this question, we going to talk about declaration and choices. So we put in the header file such as IO stream, which is responsible for input and output stream. Um, it is used to create files, write information to files, and read information from files. Then we declare each of the variables by using the identifiers like input and string. Then we got 6 choices at main menu to be selected by user. Okay, so moving on to the case 0. We can determine how many parts going to involve in the particular project by entering the number when enter number of parts come out of the screen. And then we put break at the last line of case 0 so that this program will return to main menu. After that we have case 1, which is option 2. We put the concrete grade and slump range as a guidance, so it is easier for user to put the data later. Then we're using follow and if statement, so to enter the part of project concrete batch and the slump value. So for the concrete batch, we use 24-hour system, so there is no confusion happen after. Next one is case 2, option 3. This case is for the list of concrete dates and grade. So in this case, we display the full list for the whole thing, such as part of project, concrete batch, slump, and concrete grade. Basically, we can monitor of what happened here easily and precisely.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Izzat bin Muhammad Ali, and I'll be presenting on a discussion for option 3, option 4, and option 5. So, option 3, for a simple description of option 3, is actually a modify concrete data. So, the goal is actually to change, or in other words, to add a new value to a project component that was already introduced in option 1. So, when the user enters a concrete data in option 1, the system will automatically determine the concrete grade. And when the user chooses option 3, the data that was actually previously entered, namely the measured slump value, can be modified. And this will result in a change in the concrete grade for that portion of the project part. So based on the programming structure, the program will actually display the modified concrete data, enter part to update, and enter new value of slump. And for this programming structure also, there's a few declaration that was made, such as a string part project, integer new slump, string new concrete grade, and loop is equals to -1. And for this part also, we have used a for loop. So before the loop began, integer I is equals to 0 was used to set the variable. Then I less than n is the condition for the loop to run. So if the condition is true, the loop will start over again, and if it's false, the loop will end. And I++, which is an increment, was used to increase the value each time the code block in the loop has been executed. Then the structure goes to if part of project I is equals to part of project. So where it means that the part of to update is linked to the part of project in option 1. So there was also a declaration which is loop is equals to I followed by a break. And for the next part of option 3 is followed by an if statement, where if loop is not equals to -1, slump loop is equal to new slump. So this means that the new slump value in millimeter will replace the old slump value that was input by the user in option 1. Next, the program will take the new value of slump and categorize it into specific concrete grade, such as if the new value slump is between 190 millimeter to 200 millimeter, the concrete grade is C20. So before option 3 goes to a break, once the data is updated, the program will actually display the new data have been updated. Please check again. So if there are some requirements that were not met by the user, the program will actually display invalid part. And the user can also check the updated value by choosing option 2 for the part from the menu to see the new value of the part of project and also the new concrete grade. Next is option 4, which is data have been saved. So when the user chooses option 4, the updated slump value will be saved into a text file. So in the programming structure, it starts with displaying data have been saved, followed by an oup.open slumpdata.txt, which will save the updated slump value data as a text file. So in this programming structure, we also use a for loop. So before the loop began, integer I is equals to 0 was used to set the variable. Then I is less than n is the condition for the loop to run. If the condition is true, the loop will start over again. And if it is false, the loop will end. And I++ was used to increase the value each time the code in the loop has been executed. The end of the structure is oup.close, which is to disconnect the stream from the file, then the structure goes to break. Next is the last part of the discussion, which is option 5. So option 5 is actually the end of the program. So when the user chooses option 5, as in the programming structure, it will actually first display end of program and it will straight end the program. However, there is a line where the while loop was used, which is while choice exclamation mark equals to 5, which is while is not equals to 5. This actually means that if the user did not choose option 5, the program will run to the menu again, where the user could make a new choice. However, if the user chooses option 5, then the whole program will end.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Azfar bin Yusuf and I will proceed with our project conclusion. The concrete slump test is an important procedure for determining the consistency and workability of a concrete mixture before it is used in any construction phase. As a result, it must be done batch by batch in order to achieve a higher quality concrete mixture. This program database system built for this project gives users a decent result in identifying their needs when it comes to concrete mixture grade. This functions allows users to be more accurate and understand the workability or consistency of the concrete mix that they have chosen. As a result, an advancement in technology such as this concrete slump test database will be able to assist the general public when dealing with anything complex or difficult to comprehend by the ordinary people. I think that's all from our group. Thank you.